Well, hello everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our Saturday Smash the Stash Sew Along. Today, what we are working on, or what I am working on, is the Pattern Basket Pumpkin Charm. This is a small throw. I guess I need to look and see what the size is. It's a 36 by 38 and a half. This is going to kind of be my fall, autumn quilt. Even though I'm not using fall or autumn fabrics, I am using, I believe it's called Willow's Farm. And I realized when I pulled out my fabrics today to start working on them that I still have not sewn on or snowballed all my little pieces that I'm working on. So the first thing we're going to do is finish up our leaf unit. I am to have 25 of these leaf blocks. Well, apparently I thought I only needed 5 of the squares to make these leaf blocks. Well, I needed 7, and there will be 3 left over. So what I'm going to do is take the other squares and just do an alternating, it's not a snowball on this one, it's just a one in each corner. Well, not each corner, 2 corners, alternating corners. So I'm just going to get on into it, guys. I hope y'all are having a fabulous Saturday morning. So far, it has been a good day for me. We are getting ready for all of the holiday treats and eats and everything else here. So just trying to get that all situated and sorted out and locations defined where we're going to be. We were going to be doing Thanksgiving at my home, but now we think it may be changing. The logistics has to change for people that we want to come. I do not have a ramp at my house, but my sister does, and we have some family that has access issues with that. So we want everyone that can make it be able to make it. We did find out though today, I am recording this on Friday, and we ran into a community member and the local church's pastor's mother. It's a lady I've known my whole life, I'm guessing, Miss Pat. Her son, they are doing at the local church, they're doing a Feed the Community. And being that I'm having all my family over, I'm not going to be joining them. I'm sad about that because I always love time, because I live in a very small community, so I know everybody just about. Well, it is growing now, so let me just back up and say that. It's growing, so I don't know everybody. But it is nice to get to spend time with friends that, I grew up with a lot of the people here. So most of the adults now here, we were all kids together. So we all have a good time getting together and catching up with one another, and so it's just, we have a good time. I'm hoping that, I know I won't be able to make the community cooking thing. And Miss Pat, she invited my sister and I, because my sister and I went shopping. If you saw the video from yesterday, you saw what I found yesterday. And several people have emailed and questioned about the Cabbage Patch Dolls. I'm still on the fence about listing those because they are so cute, and I'm sitting here thinking about my grandbaby, my little grandbaby girl. So I don't know. I'm probably still gonna list them because you know, it does me no good to do thrift stores for resale, because especially when I find toys like that, because I'm like, oh, my grandbaby would like that. But I actually have been going through my grandbaby's stuff that I have here at my house, and since they're not here all the time, I try not to keep a lot of things here. So I've actually, like, both of them now don't need a playpen. The grandbabies I have right now, that's not to say that my oldest one, that she don't open surprises and get married and have a baby all in a year. Because she wants to have a baby, but she's been dating this young man only a short while, not even a year. So, but he is invited to our Thanksgiving and our Christmas. He is invited to my home. He's more than welcome to come, because I really like him. He seems like a gentleman, has a good head on his shoulders. I like everybody until they give me a reason not to. So, he and I have not really gotten into the deep conversation of what's your goals, what's your intentions, because my daughter is old enough that she don't need that. But as a parent, to feel safer, you know, he and I may have to have that conversation. Kids nowadays don't do that, though. I've realized that my daughter told me this last guy that she dated, and she was engaged to him. And I know she felt like that's what she needed to do, but I never gave my blessing on it, because I didn't feel like he had any goals. So, I'm not saying he wasn't a good guy. I don't know him. But for what she needs somebody that's got goals, that is going to be able to challenge her. That's the daughter that she is. She's the one that has to be challenged. And I didn't feel that with the last one that she dated. And I actually, it's sad, and that's why I am such a protective mother, because my daughter is such a kind heart, and I feel like that guy and his family took advantage of my daughter's kindness, because she's got a very sweet heart. Okay, got my leaf units done, so I'm pushing them out of the way, and I noticed my pumpkin units, I have to do one of these on all four corners. So I'm going to keep doing that and just keep chatting. But anyway, this daughter, you know, I just want to be very protective of her, because she does have such a kind disposition to her that it's real easy for people to take advantage of her. And people do. People will take advantage in a heartbeat of someone that's so kind and generous. And I don't want that for my daughter. So who would want that for their daughter? But my daughter, she's a very independent person. So she gets it honestly, because I'm a very independent person. And I'm so happy my husband does not have trouble with me being very independent, because a lot of men do have issues with that. And I just tell them, at least you know that if something happens to you, I can take care of myself. But anyway, we are getting ready for the holidays, and my plan really isn't to do a lot of shopping this year for the holidays. Even though it looks like I have been, I really haven't. I try to do basic things that people would need, because I don't want to give my kids something that they have to store or find a place to put. You know, it's kind of a joke in our family, which my aunt started it years ago, when all of the, well, of course, nieces and nephews for her were getting out of the house, because there was 4 of us and all of us had children. So it was like every year we were having another one go to college or move out, get their own place, start their own family. You know, for years, that's what we had, was somebody else getting out on their feet. Well, and my aunt, she always gave everyone toilet paper. And I don't know about y'all, but I like getting toilet paper for Christmas, because after Christmas, you got a lot of people at your house. You run out of toilet paper really fast. But, and not that we don't give heartfelt things as well. But, so my aunt did that. So I started, because, like I said, most of them were starting to have families and things like that. And, you know, for a young family, money is always tight. So what I did, my aunt gave the toilet paper. So I gave my nieces and nephews cleaning supplies and like air fresheners and things like that for the house. You know, like the Lysol and the dish detergent and all that. Clothes detergent. So that has kind of become a thing in our family. And my nephew, actually, I had one of them ask me at the wedding, at my niece's wedding, not too long ago. It was my niece. She asked me, she's like, "Are you the one that gives us the toilet paper?" I'm like, "No, that's not." My sister has now taken over giving the toilet paper. And I was like, "No, that's it's my sister's stepdaughter." I'm like, "That's Michelle." And she's like, "Well, we don't need it this year." I'm like, "Well, let her know, so that way she knows not to do toilet paper for y'all, and maybe she could do something different." Because at their pantry party, which was their bridal shower, she got a lot of things like that she would need, because this is her husband's second marriage and her first. And he has 2 girls from a prior marriage, and they have the girls. And, you know, so she's taking care of 2 girls, and, you know, it's just hard when you've got kids. So she's like, "Well, we don't need that. We need this." So I'm like, "Well, that's what we like to hear, is what they need." Like, if my children told me, "Mom, I need coffee instead of," let me just say, toilet paper, which I give my own kids that now. If they are like, "I need coffee instead of toilet paper," they get coffee instead of toilet paper. I want to give them something they need. And that's just kind of how we go about Christmas, is things they need. And we do give things they want sometimes. Now, I do always give like particular gifts to each one of my kids. But we're not about buying stuff much anymore, because my youngest daughter, I asked her the other day, I was like, "What do y'all need?" You know, talking about her family. And she's like, "Mama, we really don't need anything." She said, "Don't worry about us." She's like, "We can't afford to buy," because they have a new baby. They have a new car. Her car that I had bought her finally laid down on her. And So she needed a new car, and she bought a new car. And she's like, we can't. And I'm like, that does not matter. I don't need anything. I'm 50 something years old, and well, I'll tell you, I'm 52 years old, and I'm at a point in my life where I'm able to provide my own needs, and I want to help my children with theirs to help get them on their feet. And plus they gave me some beautiful grandbabies. Oh my goodness. My youngest two have children, and my oldest, if she never has a baby, that's still okay. But them grandbabies are something precious. Oh my goodness, I just can't. I just want to eat them up. I don't know why. I just want to eat them up. They are just so darling. And just absolutely the most precious little things in the world. My reason for waking up every morning. So we are getting ready for the holidays. I have a lot of canning I have to do this weekend. I've got to go and get my cranberry sauce canned. That way I'll have some for Christmas and Thanksgiving. I do not do cranberry sauce out of a can. Just because have y'all ever read the ingredients on those cans? There's all kinds of stuff in there that you don't need to be eating or drinking. And I'm just going to try to stay as natural as I can. And I know that my cranberry sauce has sugar in it. I know I'm not supposed to have sugar. I know. But I don't eat this way every day of the year. Or even every day of a week. I don't know. I may be for a week. Because I may have some leftover smoked ham or smoked turkey and leftover I love dressing and cranberry sauce. I could eat that every day. I love dressing and cranberry sauce. That has to be my favorite food. Next to bacon. It has to be my favorite food. But I use organic sugar. It's a pure cane sugar, so it's not processed, so it's not white. And I know a lot of people will like white don't matter. Well, it really doesn't matter, but if you have a pure cane sugar, it's not going to be white if it's not processed. Because pure cane sugar is kind of like a honey color. Or a light honey color, not like a dark brown color, but... And brown sugar is just molasses and sugar. So, don't be convinced that brown sugar is better for you than white sugar. It's not. It's sugar. It's all sugar. So... But, anyway, talking all about the holidays and the shopping and the food and the family. So I hope everyone, even if you don't have family, and if you don't have family, there's still community outreaches that you can be part of your community. And if you don't have anything to do on Thanksgiving night, Tammy and I will be doing our live Thanksgiving night. Everything permitting, my children should all be gone by the time we do the live, which is 7 p.m. Central Time. So I should be able to be online. And we do the live on her channel, which is at the Siberian Wind. I'm going to have to get a few more little squares here. And we will be live on Thursday night. I don't know if we'll be sewing. I don't know what we'll be doing. So y'all just come join us. We could be sitting back drinking hot tea and talking about desserts. Who knows? Sharing recipes. I love sharing recipes. I am going to be making a cranberry fluff this year, and it's going to be a little bit different than how I have made it in the past. I guess in the past I made a cheater's version of it, but this year the recipe that I found, you use the heavy whipping cream. Instead of the Cool Whip, you use the heavy whipping cream and the cream cheese. So we will see how that turns out. And y'all, I had to buy pecans today. And yes, I say pecans, not pecans, because I don't want no pecan. I want a pecan. Because pecans are for the outhouse, not for my kitchen. So, okay, let's get these out of the way. I keep my little box right here. So I have everything very quickly available to me. And I need more of these and no more of these. So I can put those back up. So now I have to trim these apart here, or cut them apart. And guys, see, I have my little Cathy here. It is a magnet on both sides of it. I actually have a needle on that side. I need to put one more block in this bottom corner here. So I'm just going to trim these apart, and y'all probably noticed that I'm taking my time. I'm not rushing. I was rushing before, trying to get lots of quilts done, things done, but now it's just like, you know what? Let's take our time. Even if it's not ready by Thanksgiving, that's fine, because, you know, it's still fall. I was going to enlarge this, but decided against it, because this can be a small, like I said, it's a really small quilt. It's a 36, so it's like a 3 foot by 3 foot. Yeah, so it's like a yard. And so it's going to be a small, probably little play quilt for my grandbabies. My husband's like, why don't you just quit making them little bitty quilts for them grandbabies and go get them one of them cheap fleece blankets to roll on the floor with. I was like, because I want to sew the quilts. You know, these would be cute little quilts that, you know, when they have babies, that they can have quilts to put, you know, to give their babies if they're still in existence. Because my son still has an Afghan that my grandmother made him, and it's about the same size, maybe a little smaller than this quilt that I'm making. And when he had his daughter, he asked me, he's like, Mama, do you still have this? Where's it at? And I couldn't for the life of me remember where I had seen it, but I thought I had donated it. And then one day I was going through a basket that had a lot of blankets and quilts in it, and there it was. And I told him, I was like, I found it. I did not realize that my grandmother had made that quilt for him, or made that Afghan for him, and he wanted it. So when he was here, just actually not too long ago, but shortly after he asked about it and I found it, he got it and took it with him. And I also had a little blanket that my grandmother had made for me when made for my oldest daughter, because we didn't know what she was going to be. So one side of it was blue and the other side was the same exact pattern in pink. So she just made that little blanket, and I used that for all three of my babies, and I don't know where that blanket is. And I am devastated that I cannot find it. So, because that was the very first baby blanket that anyone had made for me. And, well, probably the only one that anyone had made for me, because I don't think anybody else had made one. I had gotten a lot of blankets, you know, but none were homemade or handmade. And I know I'm just sitting here rambling with you guys, but that's okay. We can keep sewing and talking all at the same time. I should have got me a little mug of chai latte, but I really didn't want to start coughing. That right now has its moments. I have spells where I don't have any coughing, and then I have spells where I can't stop coughing. But so far today, we've had cooler weather today. Now, I have noticed when it's cool and very damp, I have a little cough. And when it's hot and dry, I have a cough. So there's no happy medium, because it's one or the other here in Louisiana. But I'm just doing a lot of these smaller blankets, because that way I know my grandbabies will always have a little blanket, you know, to cuddle up with or to play with their baby dolls with. The little girls do. So, you know, I know they'll have something here. When I know it's just as easy to buy one. And I actually do have some blankets, some Winnie the Pooh blankets, that I have my oldest daughter's baby blanket. It was a pink, just a pink with a satin binding on. And then when my second daughter came along, I got a yellow one with a yellow satin binding around it. Now, my oldest daughter, she carried her blanket around so much that satin binding came off, and my aunt had to sew that binding on several times. But then when my son came through, my youngest daughter was still young. She was just a little over 2. And she kept wanting to take his blanket, which was a big plushy Winnie the Pooh, really soft Chanel-like blanket. So I had to buy her one too. So I have 2 Winnie the Pooh blankets. And I think I have a couple blankets from when my oldest daughter was a baby. But they were all, you know, purchased blankets. My oldest daughter was Mickey Mouse. My middle daughter, I don't know that we really did a theme for her baby stuff. But my son, he was Winnie the Pooh. All of his stuff was Winnie the Pooh. I think my middle daughter's was Winnie the Pooh too. I think hers was pastel Winnie the Pooh, and my son was basic Winnie the Pooh. Hers was vintage Winnie the Pooh. But now they have a lot of different themes. It's just so amazing at all the themes they do for babies now. My little grandbaby girl, hers was Highland cows, or Western kind of look, Western Aztec kind of look. And my grandson, his was fishing. But I feel like I want to go see him tonight, but I know they're probably busy doing stuff. And I think my daughter has to go to work tomorrow. But we are booking this on done. Yeah, I want to get these done. We'll probably be close to an hour or a full length video here for you guys. So hopefully you can get some sewing done today. I know I'm going to be doing a lot of canning and sewing and house cleaning today. Since I have been getting better, I have been getting a lot more energy. That's probably just because I'm getting more oxygen now. But I've always made a list for me to do things. And if I got over half of the list done in the day, you know, for that day, I was happy. Well, last night, I actually got everything on my list done. And I only had 4 things on there, but I had quite a few things I needed to do. But they were pretty big things, but I got them done. Those things were done. Now, did I get everything for today done? No, I did not. I barely hit my list. This is probably the only thing that's on my list that I had to do today. Well, no, I had a couple more things. But I have some things that I need to take out to my shed, but it's very wet. And some of the things, my husband doesn't want me to go out there by myself. I think he may be afraid I'll fall out there. I think what it is, he does not want me to see what he has put in my shed, because it's probably in the doorway and I probably cannot get in my shed. I think that's what it is. But I do have some canning jars that do need to go out to the shed because there's too many in my house. I told my husband the other night I needed some wide mouth quart jars for some things that I'm going to be canning. And I told him, I said, I just need 1 case. That's all, just 1 case. Well, he came back with 2 cases. So I only need 1 case, and I know that. I know I only need 1 case. But, you know, it's the thought that counts. I'm very appreciative that he thought about it. I think I need a lot more squares than what I have. Or either I'm using the wrong square. It looks like I need more squares. Let's see. This is background. I'm thinking I'm using the right one. I'm thinking I just didn't cut enough, maybe. Oh, I did use 4 for that other piece. Okay. So I probably do need to cut 4 more out. I need way more than 4, though. Well, Yeah. Yep, 4 is what I need. 4 is what I need. So that was the 4 that I used on that other block that actually we found you had to cut it a different direction if you had things that were directional. And that's that one block. So I'm not going to cut those right now. I will cut those a little bit later. I do have some of that fabric right there. I have some of it back here in my big box. But that will be good. So what I'm going to do is just cut these off. Cut them apart. And we'll decide then what to do. Who knows? I am just in no rush here. I'm enjoying getting to work on this little quilt. I'm debating on how to back this one. I am thinking like a lot of the small quilts that I'm making for my grandbabies to play with, to maybe just back it with a flannel maybe, or a minky instead of doing batting. Just do something like that so it's a light quilt. Because I do have one that is a quilt and it is quilted. And it's not really soft enough for them to kind of throw around and play under, you know, roll around in. And when I say roll around, you know, like if you put a baby to bed, they're going to roll around sometimes and toss. And, you know, they need a soft little blanket to lay with. So that's maybe what I do is find a minky or something to back this one with. This one here would probably, well, I actually do have backing that I can use, or fabric that I can use for backing on this. But being that it's fall, I think like a mustard color flannel or something like that. I think that would be nice. I think that would be nice. So I'm just taking it slow, getting these done. And guys, you do not have to do this exact pattern. That is fine. There are 2 patterns that are out there that are free that you can get online. One is a pumpkin paper tonal, I believe, and one is, I think, called autumnal. If I can find them, I will link them down in the description down here. So guys, I'm going to call this end here. This will give you about half an hour of a decent video here for you to sew along with me. I am smashing my stash. I am using fabrics that are in my stash, trying to thin out my stash. And I hope you have enjoyed. I hope you have been inspired. Please give me a thumbs up if you have not yet. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. I do try to respond to each and every comment personally. And as always, until I see you again, I hope you have a very blessed day. Goodbye.